I noticed the quiet first. Not the pleasant kind. The kind that feels padded, deliberate, like the apartment had been insulated against the rest of the building a little too well. Street noise barely reached me. I couldn't hear my neighbors, not footsteps or plumbing or late-night televisions. For a pre-war building in the city, it was unnaturally still. The listing had called it soundproofed. I'd taken that as a selling point. The first few nights passed without incident. I unpacked slowly, cooked simple meals, slept deeper than I had in months. The silence pressed in around me like a blanket. I told myself it was peace. On the fourth night, I woke up sweating. The bedroom wall behind my headboard was warm. Not from sunlight or pipes, this was after midnight, but from something held, like heat trapped in flesh. I pressed my palm to it and felt a faint vibration, so subtle I might have imagined it. I lay there listening, breath shallow until I convinced myself it was just the building settling. Still, I moved the bed a few inches away from the wall. The vibration stopped. I found the door a week later. I'd been trying to fix a loose baseboard in the hallway. When I pried it back, the drywall behind it sounded hollow. Too hollow. I tapped again, slower this time, following the sound until my knuckles struck something solid but thin. A seam. The panel slid inward with almost no resistance. Behind it was a narrow door, flush with the wall, painted the same dull off-white. No handle, just a small indentation where someone's fingers might fit. I stood there for a long time before opening it, listening to the apartment breathe. The room beyond was narrow, windowless, and perfectly clean. A single exposed bulb hung from the ceiling, already on, humming softly. The air smelled faintly of dust and old paper. Shelves lined the walls from floor to ceiling, each one packed with objects arranged with meticulous care. Watches, dozens of them, all stopped at different times. Keys on labeled hooks, apartment numbers that didn't exist in the building directory, old phones, corded, mobile, flip phones, all powered off, yet warm to the touch, cassette tapes stacked in chronological order, notebooks. I picked one up and flipped it open. It was a log. Dates, times, observations. Subject slept from 11:43 p.m. to 6:12 a.m. Restless during REM. Subject exhibits anxiety when silence exceeds 90 seconds. Subject unaware of observation. The name on the inside cover wasn't mine. I closed the notebook gently and backed out of the room, shutting the hidden door behind me. That night, I didn't sleep. The next day, I searched the names. Some led nowhere. Others led to old missing persons reports. People who had lived in the city briefly and then vanished. No foul play suspected. Moved away. Lost contact. At the end of each file, the logs all ended the same way. Subject transitioned successfully. That phrase stayed with me. The second time I entered the room, something had changed. A new shelf had been added, empty, except for a single manila folder. My name was written on it in neat, careful handwriting. Inside were details I hadn't told anyone. My sleep schedule, the way I rubbed my thumb against my forefinger when anxious, notes on my breathing patterns. The most recent entry made my stomach tighten. Subject exhibits curiosity. This is promising. That night, the apartment felt warmer. The wall behind my bed radiated heat again, stronger now. When I lay down, sleep came fast and heavy, like I'd been pulled under. I dreamed of standing in the hidden room while someone adjusted objects on the shelves behind me, their movements slow and precise. I woke to the sound of the light bulb humming through the wall. In the morning, there was a new item on the empty shelf, a notebook. My handwriting. The first page described the dream I'd had, word for word. I tried to leave. I packed a bag and stepped into the hallway, only to find the elevator out of order and the stairwell door locked for maintenance. My phone had no signal. When I returned to the apartment, the hidden door was already open. Inside the room, the shelf was no longer empty. It held objects that were unmistakably mine. My watch, a spare key I'd lost years ago, an old phone I thought I'd thrown out. The log updated itself as I watched. Subject experiencing resistance. Normal. My lease agreement sat on the shelf beneath it, pages neatly turned to the final clause. Occupancy concludes at 12 a.m. on final date. Tonight. I sit on the floor of the secret room now, writing this quietly, while the apartment hums around me. The bulb flickers softly overhead. The shelves feel closer than they did before, as if the room has learned my dimensions. There's a final object waiting on the empty shelf. A labeled key. My apartment number, worn smooth. From the other side of the wall, I hear the bedroom settle. The warmth spreads. The silence deepens, padded and patient. I think I understand now. This isn't a room for hiding things. It's a room for keeping them, preserving routines, recording patterns, holding people at the moment they're most themselves, alone, asleep, unguarded. The logs don't end when someone disappears. They end when the observation is complete, when the subject no longer needs to be watched. The light hums. The clock on my phone ticks toward midnight. And somewhere in the walls, the apartment waits, ready to archive me, carefully, quietly, exactly as I am.